Hi, I'm Melissa Bunch, and this is the Christ-Centered Energy Healing Spirit Code Program. And today, our tapping sequence is very individualized. So I would like you to take this journey with me as we really work on getting to the root emotional cause of some of your behaviors. So I want you to find something that you're struggling with right now, and I want you to focus on it. So it could look like this. I'm craving food, I binge eat food, or I'm constantly thinking that I'm not good enough. And I'm constantly criticizing myself and cutting myself down for things like that. Stuttering over words, being imperfect, worrying about what other people think, falling into the victim cycle, constantly getting into arguments with your spouse, not being able to sleep at night, waking up totally restless, or wanting to sleep all the time, being overwhelmed with sadness or depression, craving something, like I have to have something outside of myself to feel better. And that could be any number of things, right? That could be moving into a new house, moving to a new state, having a different job, having a different spouse, having somebody else making changes in their lives so that you find yourself to be happy. That grass is greener mentality. So there's a number of things that we're going to focus on at this time, where I really want you to get in touch with what it is about yourself that you want to change. Something that you're struggling with, something that you're unhappy with, something that brings misery in one way or another, okay? So this is going to be any number of things. You get to be as creative as you want. It could be anxiety. It could be panic attacks. This could be an asthma attack that you're constantly having. This can be physical. This can be emotional. You can focus on the rash on your leg. You can focus on the pain in your back. You can focus on the headache that you're experiencing, or maybe just the lack of trust that you have in the opposite gender. I mean, seriously, the sky's the limit here, okay? What we're doing is we are really going to get down to the emotional cause, to your behaviors and to your patterns and to things that you would like to change about yourself. And I need you to recognize that you can absolutely create this change. Once we find out what is causing this behavior, we work through it, then you can start taking more steps in your own life to step out, to create the life that you are desiring. Okay, so this is the first step. This is dealing with the emotional memory that we don't want to deal with. It could be a repressed memory, or it might not be, okay? So here's how we're going to do this, all right? It's going to be quite a few steps, and this is going to be a little bit open because I'm not talking with you one-on-one. If I have the opportunity to talk with you on the phone, I can help you to find the memory, and we can take a little bit more time. However, I'm going to try and make this as vague as possible for a wider group of people so that you can also do this with your clients. So if you're one of my students, on spiritcode.net, if you're one of my students and you're using this video for one of your clients, just go through it a few times, do your own baggage, and then take these steps in with your appointments with your clients, and just see the changes that are taking place. That this is going to assist for those long-term changes, right? This is going to help you more with some immediate relief. So, because sometimes a lot of times people would like to have some sort of immediate shift, some sort of immediate change that they feel, and this is going to offer that to them. And then the rest of the work that you do with them is going to offer them the long-term change so that the patterns do not come back. So if you're experiencing illness, if you have serious pains, if you have excess dense tissue, which is typically shows up as cancer, let's focus on this, all right? Let's get down to the emotional factor that is behind this illness, this emotional problem, this addiction, whatever pattern that we're going to be focusing on, all right? So we're going to start on the side of the hand. I want you to tap. This is the way we're going to be tapping, and I want you to follow along with me. Now you can be totally out of sync, you can be in a different spot. It doesn't matter, as long as you're hitting your tapping spots, which is your acupressure spots, your meridian flow, the connection that we have with your glands in your body. As long as you're hitting these acupressure spots, you are going to be able to help bring these emotions out, deal with these emotions, and help release just one at a time with different memories that are sabotaging your progress, all right? So right now I want you to focus on the thing that you want to change. So whether it is the craving, right? If you're constantly craving sugar and you can't seem to get off of sugar, I want you to focus on that junk food that you crave all the time. If you are addicted to a certain habit, behavior, pattern, I want you to focus on that habit. If you have severe anxiety, focus on that anxiety. If you have a terrible rash or you're having a lot of pain, focus on that pain. So we're going to focus on that's causing us, discomfort. So while you're tapping on the side of your hand, I want you to really get in touch with that feeling, with that craving, with that emotion, with that pain, with anything that discomfort that you're experiencing. All right? Okay, so once you're totally in touch with that, we're going to take the next step. Now, ideally, I would like you to muscle test how many different memories are creating this discomfort, this craving, this pain, whatever that we're focusing on when we're tapping on the side of your hand, okay? So if you have somebody who you're working with, they will muscle test you, and they will find out, this is my favorite form of muscle testing, they will find out how many different memories you're dealing with, okay? So you could have 5, you could have 6, you could have 1, you could have 2. And then we can also muscle test your age. And that can help you to know what memory you can focus on. All right, so for the sake of going through this and putting this on YouTube for you, what we're going to do next is we're going to go through the memory. So let's say that you just muscle tested that this, what we're tapping out right now, has 5 different memories. And let's say one you were 12, another one 22, another one 30, whatever the ages are. Go ahead and write these down, and I want you to now just share this with your client and leave it open. You don't have to know what they went through unless they share it with you. Okay, so give them the age, let them know kind of what we're working with, and then begin tapping. They may not know, just say, you were 17 years old, if that was the age that you muscle tested. You were 17 years old, may not be related whatsoever to what we were tapping here, okay? Can be completely unrelated. They do not need to try and piece this together and figure this out on their own. They're just now focusing on that age, totally shifting gears, okay? So let's say that we're focusing on 17, and let's say that was the age that I was being given. That something happened when I was 17 that caused me some turmoil, that upset me, that was hard to go through. So as I tap, I'm just going to open it up. I'm just going to let the Holy Ghost guide, and I'm going to let my spirit lead me where I need to go, and trust in my mind, trust in my body, my mind, and my spirit here. So as I'm tapping, I'm going to just listen inward to what this memory is. And oh, there it is. Something just popped in my mind. It seems totally unrelated. And it absolutely seems kind of petty, but at the time it wasn't. It was something that was really intense that bothered me a lot. So this is what we're going to do now, okay? You are going to be there. Be there. Be there once again. Be 17, be 23, be whatever age that you muscle tested this memory to be. Be there again. Remember how that felt. Get in touch with your thoughts. Get in touch with your emotions. Get in touch with this full memory as if you're experiencing it again, the best that you can. And just keep tapping on all of your spots while you're thinking this, okay? While you're going through this memory. And take as much time as you want. Guys, you can't mess this one up. This one is very individualized. Take as long or go as fast as you want to. If you've already got it and you're like, oh, I'm good, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Or if it was a really big one, something really powerful and really intense, take your time. I'm just giving you the steps, okay? I just want you to get really familiar with these steps and then go back and do them enough that this is just natural. All right, you're going to have this memorized. After you've done this a couple of times, you're going to have it memorized. You can't mess this up too much. Okay, so let's say I'm totally in touch with this emotion. I'm totally in touch with this memory, with everything that comes with it. I'm ready to move on to the next step, okay? So now And this gets a little tricky. It can be kind of hard to explain to the person that you're working with, okay? So now we're going to focus on inviting your present day self, which would be, I'm 37, so I'm going to invite my 37-year-old self to come witness my 17-year-old self going through this. Okay, so I usually say more mature. Your more mature self is going to come and watch these events from your younger self. This younger version of you going through this difficult trial, this difficult event, something that was emotional, something that was hard. I'm going to watch it from my more mature understanding, because I know how it's going to turn out now. Now I can look back on this from however many years ago. For me, it's been a little while. But I can look back and I can say, oh, I know how that turned out. And I know how important it was for me to experience that, because, gosh, it taught me so much. And I'm so glad I had that opportunity, even though it was really hard at the time. It really softened me and made me more compassionate. But here's the deal. This is just my perspective now. Okay? So we're going to invite in this more mature perspective to come observe this event. Okay, so just be quiet for a little while and just allow that opportunity to witness and observe, and get in touch with your feelings, because you're going to feel very differently when you're watching this from your more mature self. It's going to feel different. So I want you to get in touch with that feeling. Okay. Take as much time as you need. All right. So the next step, talk to yourself. Offer yourself all of the guidance, all of the support that you need to hear. You can say something like, just keep going. You're going to make it. You're doing fantastic. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to bump. You're going to trip. You're going to fall. But you know what? We're going to learn so much that it's okay that you feel this way. It's okay that you're experiencing this. Don't beat yourself up. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You are not alone. You are stronger for this. Okay, anything that you need to hear. Offer that support, that guidance, that understanding. Offer that to the younger version of you, okay? Everything you need to hear. Keep tapping. Don't stop tapping through this. It's going to help you to bring out this emotion that you need to deal with. Okay, now once you've had enough time, as you know, take as much time as you need on these steps. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to invite Christ. So I want you to invite Christ into this memory, into this scene, this event that's taken place in your past. Maybe you're a little bit embarrassed or ashamed, but you know what? We need him to see. We need him there. Okay, so I want you to invite Christ. Now, here's the part that can get a little bit flexible. Okay, so let's say that you're dealing with the death of a parent. Invite that parent. They're an angel now. Invite them. You can, preferably you have a healthy relationship with them. If you don't have a good relationship with them, let's invite Christ, okay? We want to make this a safe space. So, but if you had a good relationship with them, invite that loved one, that departed one. And you can invite Christ also, or just that loved one. You get to be a little bit creative with who it is. You can invite Heavenly Father, you can invite Heavenly Mother. But the best part about Jesus Christ is just because we have such an intense bond with him, being mortals, and everything that he has gone through. And of course, he's here for us as guidance and support. So if somebody else pops into your mind that you would like to invite into this portion, you can. But the point is, Jesus Christ sees you from all angles. He sees you from the pre-mortal existence. He sees your potential. He knows why you're experiencing these events. He knows how you could grow from them. He totally loves you, and he has so much patience and compassion. So invite him to watch, invite him to see. No matter how difficult this memory is, allow him there. Invite him. And then once he's there, and He's watched, and He offers you His complete love, complete compassion. Let Him talk to you. Let Him offer you that guidance you need to hear. You can sit on His lap. He can hold you. He can carry you. You don't have to be standing face to face. Get really connected with Christ in this one, okay? I love the idea of sitting on His lap while He talks to you. I think that one's beautiful. Allow Him to offer you that understanding. Ask Him to explain this to you. You're not going to understand it all. You're not going to be able to comprehend everything. But just ask Him to teach you, to explain to you how you can turn this around, how you can make this into something more beautiful. You can ask Him, why did it happen? However, be careful with that one. So make sure that everything that we ask is in line with God's will. So just let Him talk to you. Let Him offer you His guidance, His counsel, His support, and His complete love. Now this one, take as much time as you need. Alright? You can make this a really beautiful spiritual experience between you and God. And for the sake of not making this video too terribly long, I'm going to move on. You can pause. Absolutely pause this video and take as much time as you need, okay? So, offer Him gratitude. Thank Him for loving you, for carrying you, for offering you His complete support, and for helping you through this memory. And give Him a hug. Embrace Him. Allow Him to embrace you. Let Him love you. Remember that you deserve His love. Now I want you to turn around to this memory, and I want you to find a way to offer it to Christ. Okay? So if this burden is not a big one, if this memory is kind of mild and you're good, you don't have to do this step. But if this is a big one, if this one hurt, if you've been crying, and if this one was really emotional, and it's making me cry, and I'm not sure why yet, but if this one's making you really emotional, I want you to hand it over to Him. So here's a good way that can look. You can imagine picking up like a bag, like a big drawstring bag, and wrapping the memory inside this bag and handing it over to Christ. Or it can look like a bunch of bricks. Okay, you can imagine that this memory was just so heavy and you've been carrying it around for so long that it's like a bunch of bricks, or even a cross. Maybe it looks like a cross that you've been bearing. That's just too heavy for you to keep carrying. I want you to hand that over to Christ. Let Him help you. It's not too heavy for Him. It's like a child. We are like children asking for help. He can carry this, and it's not going to burden Him. It's not going to hurt Him. He wants to help you. Parents always want to help their children. And I know He's not our parent. He's our brother. But He wants to help you. Okay? Alright. Keep going. We're not done. Now turn to this younger version of you. And I want you to hold her, him or her. I want you to hold this younger version of you. Wrap your arms around yourself and offer yourself that love and that tender, compassionate touch that you so desperately need and deserve. And as you're holding yourself, imagine your light, shining so bright, shining so bright. And as that light shines, bring her into, bring this younger version of you into yourself. Become one, okay? You can invite this younger version into your heart, into your soul, into your chakras, into your body. Just imagine her becoming a part of you. Imagine this younger version of you becoming a part of you now, okay? No shame. We're not going to be ashamed of our past selves. We're not going to be embarrassed of what we've done or what we've gone through or what's happened to us or what we've experienced. No shame. Complete love. Complete acceptance. Complete gratitude for the fact that you went through these events and you're not alone. You went through these events and they made you into who you are now. That trial, that struggle, that difficult memory made you into who you are now. And I want you to offer yourself that total and complete gratitude. Thank you so much for enduring to the end so that I could be a stronger, more beautiful person, so I could help others, so I could have more compassion, so I could learn, so I could grow, so I could become so much more. Thank you. Thank you for being you. And as you become one, take a deep breath. Okay, now, let's go back to this original thing that we were dealing with, okay? Whether it's sleeplessness, anxiety, food cravings, a pain in your body, whatever it is that we were tapping out at the beginning, I want you to come back to it. And I want you to focus on it and tell me if it's still there. Is that something that you're still dealing with? And if so, go through all these steps all over again. And this time, a new memory. All right? And go ahead, muscle test, find out the age, and just focus on that age and just let it happen. All right? Just let that memory come to you. Your body remembers. And if by chance you can't remember, go on to the next stage. It's okay, because sometimes the repressed memories are repressed for a reason. And if you're not able to get it, it's okay. Keep going. All right? This is progression. And I do want to kind of bring this up when you have a little child. And I'm giving you this example because of what we handed over to Christ. And one thing I forgot to mention is when you hand this over to Christ, you have to let go. It's the only way you can hand it over. You got to let go. And that's so important. If you're going to hand him this heavy burden, this heavy cross you've been carrying, when you give it to him, you let go. It's like when you learn, come follow me. You have to turn away from the way you used to live in order to follow him. Just like when you hand him over this burden, you have to let go. And, you know, when a little child comes to their parents and asks for help because they're being bullied at school, it's not too big of a deal for us. We don't think, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened to you. We don't feel ashamed of them. We don't get angry at them. We're grateful for the opportunity to help them. We're grateful for that opportunity to serve. And it's so easy to solve because they're little children and we're adults, and we can see this from a much bigger viewpoint. We understand what might be going on in those families and how to really discuss this and help to try and find a better solution. So it's, you know, if we keep it in and we never tell anybody what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, we never ask Heavenly Father for help, it hurts him. If your child was struggling at school and being bullied and they didn't tell you, they didn't want to tell you because they didn't want to upset you, they didn't want to make you feel ashamed of them, it comes between you. They end up pulling away. The young child pulls away a little bit. They end up resenting you a little bit. And then you end up falling apart. That relationship kind of falls apart more and more and more. So I want you to recognize that when you have that opportunity to hand this burden over to Christ, it's just not too heavy for him. All right? He loves you so much, and he's so grateful for this opportunity to come closer to you and to serve you. We all know how beautiful service is and how fulfilling service is. So let him serve you and let go of that burden that you're holding on to. Go through this tapping sequence as often as you need to. Always start on the side of the hand with what you're experiencing. Okay, that difficulty, that pain. Now this is going to be more of an immediate, direct, path towards healing. We recognize that in most of our tapping sequences that we're doing affirmations, and that is so important because this is going to bring up the emotions. Okay, This is going to make them cry. They need the reassurance after this. So please go through the rest of our tapping sequences and find out what positive thing they need tapped in now. Okay, because we need to recreate these neurotransmitters. We need to create new patterns, new thought processes. So you need to definitely go through more tapping sequences and find out what else is out of balance, what else do I need to work through. And so maybe you need to work through self-love. Maybe you need to work through self-rejection. Maybe you need to work through fear. Okay, so this is dealing with the memories that we just dealt with, but you please take that next step and do more tapping. And please go through the rest of the energy releases, because it also involves the atonement steps. It also involves all the different connections that we have in setting healthy boundaries and working on the physical healing aspect of it. So you have the physical, mental, and spiritual healing aspect of it. So just to kind of reiterate what we just did, right? Side of the hand, everything that not everything, one at a time. So sorry, I did not want to overwhelm you with that. One at a time, right? So either just the food craving, or just the anxiety you're experiencing, or just the addiction that you have, or whatever it is, stick with one at a time. Otherwise, it's too many emotions and you're going to explode. Not literally. So as you go through all the tapping spots, remember, you can't really mess this up. You can keep your eyes closed. You can go as fast as you need. You can go as slow as you need. You don't need to stay in one spot for a really long time, though. And then get in touch with that memory. Focus on that memory. Muscle test. Find out what age how many different memories are attached to that discomfort, that craving, that addiction, that pain, whatever you're dealing with. How many different memories are attached to it? And then find out the ages, and then start with 1, 2, 3. Just do them all. Do all the different memories. Okay, so as you're going through it, go back to that age and just focus on that age and let the memory pop into your mind, no matter how small, no matter how ridiculous, or no matter how much off topic it is. It does not have to even seem like it's related to your symptoms that we're dealing with, okay? So just go through your spots and allow that memory to come in. Be there again. That's the first step. Be there again. Then invite your more mature self right now, your present day self, to come witness it from this better understanding, this different perspective. And then communicate. Talk to yourself. Offer yourself the guidance and the counsel that you need. And then invite Christ into this. Or you can invite the person who's passed on if you're dealing with the death of a loved one. And then allow them to watch, allow them to see what you were feeling, what you were experiencing, and then allow them to offer you that counsel, okay? Or invite them to offer you that counsel. And listen. This is the time to listen. You don't need to direct it. Listen, okay? And then as you receive that love and that counsel, then you move on to the next step of wrapping it up and handing that burden over to Christ, or the bricks, or however you see this heavy burden, the cross. Hand it over to Christ and let go. And then the next step is going to be thanking Christ. Thank Him. Offer Him a hug and embrace. And then turn to this younger version of you and wrap your arms around them. Give them that love, okay? And then as you're hugging them, wrapping your arms around them, become one. Imagine your spirits and your light merging and becoming one. If you need to, invite them into your heart. Invite them into your spirit. Otherwise, you can just imagine becoming one. All right? And as you do that, you can't have any sort of self-criticism or self-rejection or shame present. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if you're feeling shameful of yourself for what you did, take some time. Okay? That's all I can say. Take some time and maybe jump back a couple of steps to the point where you can talk to yourself a little bit more, really process what happened, work on some self-acceptance and some self-love. And if it's still not working, go through some self-love tapping sequences, go through some of the energy releases, find out which energies are really affecting you. If you have the self-sabotage mountain, if you have the some dark energies that are influencing you, go through and release those and then come back. Okay, so for me, I had one memory that I could not seem to get through. I spent about a week and going through this sequence multiple times a day, could not seem to get myself to take all of those steps. I would constantly stop myself at a certain point because it was too hard. It was just too much. I couldn't handle it. And so at the end, I recognized, oh my goodness, I finally made it through this memory. This was so hard. Whew, okay. And then I didn't want to let her in. I didn't want to merge with her. I didn't want to be there again. I was scared to death that by merging with this younger version of me that I was, I don't know, it felt as though I had to go through it again. I didn't want to. And it's one of the worst memories that I have of the domestic violence that I experienced in my first marriage, and it's one of the only ones that I haven't been able to work through. So I just want you to offer yourself patience and love, okay? This isn't a super fast process of healing. This could take your whole life, but you know what? You know what to do. You have been taught. There are so many programs out there, and between the energy field and the life coaching field and doing this tapping and all these different support to heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually, this is so possible. And I love that you're on this journey with us. So just keep trying, keep working, and keep enduring, and practice this with yourself, practice this with other people, and use this with your clients. Take this information. This is a beautiful opportunity to help others. So if you're not working with an energy healer and you've actually watched this whole video, you're amazing. I'm so impressed. Go to spiritcode.net, and that is our program. It's Christ-centered energy healing, and just read up on us and see if this resonates with you and with the way that you're living your life and the path that you would like to take your life. So I want to share my love with you and my light and energy. Bye. Have a beautiful day.